Hello and welcome. My name's Super Saiyan. This is your weekly news and pre-order video covering all of the new releases from Forge World and Games Workshop. I want to say a very warm welcome to all of you new subscribers over the past week. We have recently hit the 46,000 subscriber mark. The next milestone will of course be 50,000 subscribers, where I will do quite a hefty giveaway. I have given away quite a few things on this channel before, so with everybody's contribution, hopefully we can get there soon. Massive thank you to all of you members that support the channel, and Patreons, and everyone that uses the Element Games affiliate link and crystal code. Even if you make a small order and use the link and put the crystal code in, it does add up, and it does make a difference and allows me to cover most of the new releases. So thank you. Without further ado then, let's start this news and pre-order video. Warhammer community website right here. If we go back a week ago to the 18th, right here. So it was Black Library week. It begins this week coming, I think, or was it Monday? But you could pre-order. I say you could pre-order the End and the Death Siege of Terror book by Dan Abnett. It sold out within a couple of minutes. Very, very popular, these books. They have a pull-out map as well. Or you could pre-order the hardback version, which is still a lovely version, a nice hefty book. You've got Dawn of Fire, Iron Kingdom Special Edition. That sold out quite quick. Dawn of Fire, the Iron Kingdom is hardback. Battleon Rising didn't get a special edition, just a bit strange, but it did get a hardback. And then you've got Angels of Darkness, which is a re-release in hardback. Skarsnik got a re-release in softback. And the Macarian Crusade, Angel of Fire, also got a re-release. First Founding book, which is 304 pages of background and lore. It's not a special edition or anything, but it is hardback. It's a nice coffee table kind of book. You had a few other novels in different languages and re-releases of some of Dan Abnett's previous books as well. They are print on demand, and they look like they're hardback too. And then with any of these orders, you got a free Black Library Celebration 2023 selection of short stories. That wasn't all though. You could also pre-order Captain Macinius for white consoles. My army is kind of black consoles, or it has been for most of its life. Recently I've reinforced the Space Marines with some Dark Angels, but still you can pick up, you could pick up Captain Macinius. I think he was a made to order miniature as well, so it could take up to 180 days to receive him. And then it was the final Astra Militarum miniatures in the form of the Combat Patrol, which is pretty decent. You've got the Cadian Castellan, the Commissar, and the Attilan Rough Riders, as well as some Cadian upgrades. So a lot of customization in those kits. You've got the Aegis Defense line, which I found to be a bit pricey, considering. But then Sunday we had a preview, not much at all up for pre-order for today. You've got the Strike Force Agastus. I've been on the fence over this kit all week, and I've decided not to purchase it. I think it's like £100 or something. They're wrapping it in kind of like an army set box, but not, because Space Marines have been around for a while, and Primaris seem to get a lot of new miniatures more than any other army. But they wanted to kind of change the current Primaris Redemptor Dreadnought by giving it, dual close combat weapons and multi-melters in its torso or chest. Yeah, torso, I guess. And then give a load of normal Primaris Intercessors some Nerf guns. So yeah, I've decided not to go for these. And another Lieutenant, but this time he's the most versatile Lieutenant. It's crazy just how many Primaris Lieutenants we have now. But yeah, moving down, we've also got a boarding patrol for Chaos Space Marine to go with all of that boarding action scenery. Then another Border Patrol Tyranids. They're just trying to squeeze out the final sprues of Gene Stealers before they release all the new ones. And then Warhammer Plus, all of the content. Of course, they've got the battle report with the new miniatures. So not much at all to pre-order today. Just 3 things by the looks of it. 2 Border Patrols and the Strike Force. Is it really a Strike Force though? If you type in Strike Force Super Saiyan into YouTube, now that's a Strike Force. More news. We've got a couple of players for Blood Bowl. Is it Lei Fang or whatever with the kicks that he does in Mortal Kombat? That's what this reminds me of hugely. This one looks like he's got a superhero landing, but the knee isn't quite down. He's got this blade as well. Interesting. And then this tiny little snake here. So they look quite cool. Then you've got New Desolation Squad has a rocket with your name on it. Why are they not in Gravis armor? They've got these amazing... they've got these potentially good rule missile launchers with the cap on the top. Yeah, I don't get it either. And then this, chain, this ammunition feed is... What's that for? Like, what is it for? Is it for these little rockets? I can't see like a bolt gun. Yeah, I mean, are the rockets in this ammunition fit? I just don't get it. And then also they're not in Gravis armor. So, but yeah, look at this. It's a super frag rocket launcher. They've run out of adjectives and they're just calling things super. I wouldn't be surprised if you get pro rocket launcher or ultra rocket launcher, things like that. But no, we're just putting super in the front of everything because we can't think of better descriptive words. Vengor launch, there you go, and Castellan, Castellan, how many Castellans have we got? We've got so many Castellans. They're the 2 different types, and of course they look totally different between them all. I totally would be able to tell you the difference between a super crack rocket launcher and a super frag rocket launcher, and likewise with the Vengor launcher. The Venga boys? Yeah, they just look... I'm not a fan at all. And their rules as well. Looks like there's 2 there. Is it not a heavy 2? I don't think I'm nitpicking at all. I just think that they put me off the set, the whole set. Anyway, you've got Astra Militarum Kit Bashes Part 3, Death Corps of Krieg. So nice little article here for someone I know. So they've look at this. It's amazing. Terrible mould line there though. Need to sort that out. That's pretty cool. And then immolate your enemies with the sizzling Seraphon spawn of Chotek. Looks brilliant. Of course it does. It's orange and it's black. I like this blue variant too. And Glob of Flame Acid. What an amazing name. Forget your super crack or your super frag. Glob of Flame Acid is where it's at. Yeah, it's got a 50-50 chance of hitting, but it will definitely wound, rend, and can give you a lot of damage. Just because of that, I've decided to start a Seraphon army. Because of that. Oh, and obviously the lizards riding the dinosaurs is a big factor. So if you were holding out for me to start yet another Age of Sigmar army after Gloomspike Gits and Slaves to Darkness... Oh, and I might have some Soulblight Gravelords and Lumineth lying around somewhere. Then this is what it's going to boil down to. Okay, so you can rejoice. Another army come in. Because I'm just finding Age of Sigmar that much more interesting as opposed to generic Space Marine after generic Space Marine. You got the Rumour Engine, which looks like a 40k thing. It's got this smoke grenade on the base. Nick conquers the Grey Mountain by painting one Warhammer World's Underworld warband every week. Wow. It's quite a nice saying as well, conquering the Grey Mountain. Much better than Pile of Shame, definitely. The Grey Mountain. I'm scaling the Grey Mountain. There you go. You've got some new boarding patrols. Yeah, they're just going hell for leather with these boarding patrols. It's just yet another, I say, excuse. It's another opportunity for them to rebundle a lot of the miniatures that they aren't selling into these boxes. I mean, these Banshees have been around for a number of years now. What, 5 years almost? And you've got some Drakari. Warhammer World Open Day 2023 is the ultimate free weekend of fantastic activities. Is it free? Saturday 4th and Sunday the 5th, you can take part. I went last year, and no, I'm not in that picture. Just a little disclaimer. And it actually says entrance to the Warhammer World Hall will be free. Is this the hall? I guess. And the other one is the exhibition. So I'm not sure whether you still have to pay for the exhibition. I think you would, but it's saying that the Warhammer World actual hall is free. I thought you could always go in there though. You know, because that's where the store is and things. Anyway, you've got Strike Force Agastus rips through this week's Warhammer Plus Battle Report. So some pictures there of it. You've got the Brutalis Dreadnought is even more terrifying than you thought. It's I say new kit. It's got a few new things about it. I think those knees are different, and it's got some tacit things on the side. I can't remember seeing those, but it's certainly got the new claws and the most iconic Space Marine weapon, the dual heavy stubbers at the top. Also, they decided to put multi-melters in the torso. Yeah, I guess. I mean, they are heavy weapons, but maybe it's just wanting to be a Leviathan so bad. But as usual, it's a new kit. The rules are pretty decent. You know, those talons are very, very strong. And it's actually got two profiles, the strike and the sweep. And if you didn't like the close combat version with the claws for whatever reason, you can give it heavy bolters and twin bolt rifles to give it maximum DACA. So there is that. You've got 40 years of Warhammer, the first multi-part Space Marines. This one here, the Imperial Space Marine. Cast your vote today to crown the Black Library Book of the Year. So if you haven't already and you've read a few of these, I've looked at the list and I've hardly read any, and I thought I'd read quite a lot. But yeah, you can vote for your favourite. You got the armies that claim victory in the 2023 Middle Earth Grand Tournament. Blood Bowl 3 is more brutal than ever, and then Horus Heresy. We've got the Sakaran Venator tank. Yeah. It would be nice to have had the Sakaran have this variant in it as well. But if you then think about it, you know, you've got this long cannon. All of this top area is different too. So, you know, perhaps that just wasn't an option to include this sprue. And it would have bumped up the price, and you probably wouldn't have been able to hot swap it. Not like the turrets. So if they do release any of the other variants or new variants, then at least you can swap the turrets around. But for this one, I always kind of knew that it would need its own kit. But it looks great. I can't wait to get my hands on it. That's 3 Horus Heresy tanks now. I say in my backlog that I'll need to pick up when they're released. But yeah, no, that's great. And you know, because I've got it in resin, I can compare it and give you my opinions. You got the Brutalis Dreadnought, tests its giant claws on 4 unwilling opponents. I won't spoil things for you, but it did well. You can discover a love for the wildlife with the Beastbound Assault Rivals deck for Warhammer Worlds. You've got Spanner's episode. You've got Strike Force Agastus. You've got the miniatures painted by the community. Warhammer events. Here are all the major upcoming Warhammer events. So you've got Conquest of Generals in June, Team Championships in June, Kill Team Escape from Gallowdark at the 24th of June, more Kill Team in June, and then the US Open, and a load of events through June, July, October, and November. So quite a lot. And then the new Primaris Lieutenant raided the army for every weapon his predecessors could carry. So you do get a load of options with this Lieutenant kit. So yeah, it's like the 20th or 30th Lieutenant kit, but still, you can equip him with a plasma pistol and power fist. You can equip him with a bolt rifle and the Finger of Doom. And you can also give him a power sword and a heavy bolt pistol. That pose looks great, and I think that pose suits him the most. That one's not too bad too, but that pose with the... Yeah. I mean, it's alright being flexible, but when the chest piece has to face the same direction every time, but you just change the arms, yeah, it gets a bit tricky. But what I do like is, the fact that he's got a different helmet, he's got a different tassel thing going on and a key there. So, yeah. But by now you've probably got many Primaris Lieutenants. So there is that. That's it for all of the news. Quite a lot of news today to get through. Let's jump on over to Forge World right here. And we've just got the normal sort of tiles there. They're having a bit of a break right now. Because if we click on new releases, it's just the shoulder pads and the heads from, I think, last week or the week before. So yeah, there's nothing to pre-order from Forge World this weekend. And of course on Games Workshop's website, you've got this big thumbnail advertising these Primaris Nerf Cessors and the new Pinch Me Dreadnought. You've also got a Boarding Patrol box set right here. Got a look at Messinius. If we click on new and exclusive, and we go on pre-orders, we view all, and we go high to low, you can see that the Strike Force Agastus, which we've already kind of looked at on the pre-order preview tile, £120. A Redemptor is typically £42.50. Heavy Intercessors are £40. That's £82 already just in those two sets. I would say that the units of Desolation Marines, I think the name sounds cooler than they look, would be about £35 each. So that's 70. So that's 150 already, and the Lieutenant is going to be like £24 minimum, I would say. So you're looking to save about £50 or so with this kit, and you get a little book, I guess, with some new rules in for at least 2 of the units in here. So of course there can be more savings to have if you pick it up from a third-party seller. They're selling it at the army set price point for other armies, the £120, which I think is pricey. The £120 for an army set, you'd expect like a special edition codex in there, maybe some dice as well. They've certainly got it pegged with the number of sort of units, but once again you've got a previously released unit, but the Heavy Intercessors aren't that old. So that's the set. You got the Combat Patrol Astra, which was last weekend. You got the Boarding Patrol for Chaos Space Marine, £75. Not too bad, that one, but it does have, I think, 20 cultists, and that set is awful. You've got some, I think they're chosen. So you've got 20 cultists, so 2 units of that. You've got 10 legionaries, and for some reason Abaddon is joining that very small force for some reason. But yeah, that's the Boarding Patrol. Boarding Patrol for Tyranids. If you really want 8 Gene Stealers and you haven't got the Broodlord yet, there is that set too. You've got all the paints, so you've got Minis Tirith Ready Paint Bundle, $67.25. You've got the Rohan Parade Ready Bundle, the Isengard and the Mordor, and they're all at slightly different prices there. Some of the books, I mean, the first Founding hardback is still there for the £45. So is the Aegis Defence line, and so is all these Acadian releases, as well as the books from last week, and that is it. So very thin on the ground. Like, there's nothing to pre-order from Forge World, and then from Games Workshop, there's just the Strike Force and 2 Boarding Patrols and some paint bundles. That's it. This is the least amount of pre-orders I've seen for quite a long time. I'm hoping next weekend we've got the pre-orders for World Eaters, like the Combat Patrol and maybe the Horus Heresy tanks. I'm happy if they just release one of those tanks, but we'll see. If they release 2, I'll have to pick them both up. But what do you guys think of these pre-orders today? It seems like this weekend there was more news than actual pre-orders. Are you going to be picking up the Strike Force Agastus, or will you be picking up some of the units in that set separately at a later date? Please do put your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. It'd be great to hear from you. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.